Hello and good evening, and welcome to Brian's Basement News Network, your most trusted source in song based news reporting. The first thing I would want to say is if you have comments or questions during the broadcast, be sure to type them in on your screen and we'll try to address them. But we've got a lot of news to cover. A lot of things happened this week. So we're just going to jump right in to our top story. Tonight's top story, environmental news. Okay, Bayer is to pay more than $10 billion to resolve cancer lawsuits over the weed killer Roundup. So that happened this week. So it turns out that chemicals that kill weeds kill a bunch of people too. And Roundup's active ingredient, glyphosate, is what many plaintiffs point to as the cancer-causing agent. Roundup is made by universally beloved company Monsanto, makers of other such fine products as Agent Orange, dicamba, and polychlorinated biphenyls, or PCBs, the latter to which the settlement also includes. Bayer bought Monsanto in 2018 for $63 billion, but now we can round up to $73 billion. Bayer made nearly $5 billion in profits last year. So that's our first story, and that to me is relevant because Bayer is the company that owns the plant across from Addiston, and they found out that they were just spilling and making mistakes and doing dumb stuff all the time, and they put a little weather station on top of the school and found out that all of the air was polluted enough that they had to tear down the school. So when I saw this, I was like, oh great, I have a personal connection to Bayer being terrible. Okay, so we got a song about it now. A man shouldn't have to choose between working and dying. He shouldn't have to choose between disease and pay. And he shouldn't have to balance his integrity with the company lying. No, it shouldn't. No, it shouldn't be this way. Yeah, we made a deal with the devil down here in Addiston. And it's a rotten deal and one-sided to say the least. And our punishment is the lose-lose choices that we're forced to make while decaying in the belly of the beast. A town shouldn't have to choose between cancer and schools. It shouldn't have to decide if it's safe enough to play. And you shouldn't have to suffocate for tax revenue. No, it shouldn't. No, it shouldn't be this way. Yeah, we've made a deal with the devil down here in Addiston. And it's a rotten deal and one-sided to say the least. And our punishment is the lose-lose choices we're forced to make while decaying in the belly of the beast. Yeah, we've made a rotten deal down here in Addiston. It's a rotten deal, one-sided to say the least. And our punishment is the lose-lose choices we're forced to make while decaying in the belly of the beast. Our next story is also about the environment. It's a little different though. You know, have you ever wondered why does it smell so good after it rains? If you go outside, you will notice after it rains that everything smells fresh and clean and new. And what is that smell? Because it's not just the rain cleaning stuff. The reason why the rain smells good is because of a substance called geosmin, and it's on all of the dirt. And when the rain falls, it kicks up this geosmin, and that's what gives the dirt the smell, or it gives the rain the smell of good dirt. But the scientists didn't know why where this geosmin's coming from, and so they wanted to look into why it's being made. And it turns out it's made by bacteria that, while they're eating on decaying matter in the dirt, they just make a ton of this stuff, and it's always there. And then they were like, okay, cool. Well, then why do they do this? And the reason is because it turns out that bugs also like the smell of dirt, just like we humans do. And they use the geosmin to attract bugs to pick up their bacterial spores, and then the bugs will carry them away to a better place. Kind of like how bees use pollen in flowers. So that is the reason why that the world smells good after rain. And I thought it was a cool story because sometimes you get thinking about, just really simple things about why simple question, why does it smell good after the rain? And it turns out there's a whole thing going on under there. That's newsworthy stuff. The bacteria attracting insects with their geosmin. So this is a song about that. Rain shimmers on the grass like diamonds as the sun meekly parts the dark skies. And there's a small gurgling stream as the world is washed clean. And there's a perfect moment before it dries. And I can let my mind wander freely as I ponder the complexities of life. I am perfectly still in all time and space. I allow the deep questions to rise. What do bacteria poop, poop, poop? And why does it smell so goddamn fine? And me and all the bugs, so we go rooting in the mud to help out bacteria live their tiny lives. Yeah, what do bacteria poop, poop, poop? And why does it smell so goddamn fine? Well, me and all the bugs, so we go rooting in the mud, helping out bacteria to live their tiny lives. Helping bacteria to live their tiny lives. Okay, moving on. We got some local. Oh, by the way, I should mention this. I got the first story about Bayer from NPR, and that last one was also from NPR. But we're gonna turn to some local news right now. Local events happening, and this one comes from WVXU.org. And the article is called "UC to Remove Marge Schott's Name from Campus Facilities." So the UC Board of Trustees have voted to remove Marge Schott's name from the baseball stadium and a section of the library. And if you don't know who Marge Schott is, well, I'll tell you. Marge Schott owned the Reds from 1984 to 1999. She was a person that was born rich and then married rich, so became super multiplied rich. And she's most famous for her racial and ethnic slurs that I won't even repeat because they literally taste bad. And her controversial remarks were so egregious that she got suspended from baseball on 2 separate occasions. This is baseball, the institution that claimed to be America's pastime while barring black people to play it for over 100 years. So that was enough to get Marge Schott canned temporarily. So, But Marge Schott was very rich, and she had a lot of money, and she did give it around, and like that is a good thing, I guess. But even her more redeeming qualities have kind of a tinge of sociopathic behavior. There's a famous story of how Marge Schott's dog, Shotzi, had free reign of the stadium and could go around and would frequently poop on the stadium and all that. And it's a funny story. But if you really break that down, Marge Schott named her dog after herself. Shotzi, the dog. Messed up stuff. So anyway, like I said, Schott was known for her philanthropy, and she donated $2 million to UC baseball. And she was estimated to be worth $120 million when she died. If we scale this down to a regular person, this would be equivalent of me giving UC baseball my 2000 Toyota Sienna as a gift, and expecting my name to be on a building. So they are going to remove it, and they're moving on to not have that stain on their building. So this is a song about that. Well, they named the building after a monster that donated a very hefty sum of money that was tainted by her reputation, but could actually do some good now that she's gone. But the name is fading ugly on the sign, and the money is all spent, but the name's not worth a dime. And it's good to know that bad people can still do some good. And it's good to know people are willing to forget. And it's good to know that all your worldly riches can't buy you redemption when you're dead. All right, more local news, also from WVXU.org. COVID-19 cases to rise in Hamilton County. It is a news show. We have to talk about the COVID. So Hamilton County is seeing a big surge in COVID-19 cases, more so than the rest of Ohio. And on Wednesday, the numbers were 4,098 cases, 665 hospitalizations, and 188 deaths. The increase in cases is likely to bruise a rise in deaths and hospitalizations down the road. The data shows that while increased testing does account for some of the numbers, the sheer rate, that is not a full reason for why we're seeing all these cases. Also reported are that there are a lot of 20 to 30-year-olds that are being infected now, and then also continued disproportionately minorities and poor folks are being affected too. So we're learning all kinds of stuff, a lot of scary things. Experts advise not to relax on pandemic procedures and say that social distancing, hand washing, sanitizer, and masks are all the best way to combat COVID-19. Scientists also agree that if you believe COVID-19 is a hoax, and this is a quote, you're probably a sociopathic dumb shit. And in addition to all of your practices, should also recommend pulling your head out of your own ass sometimes. So, this is a song about that. This is to the tune of the blues song Matchbox, if you want to play along at home. And yeah, because you gotta write all these songs. Sometimes you gotta borrow some of the music from elsewhere. Anyway, none of these songs have titles, but if this one had a title, it'd be called the COVID-19 Blues. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm a sitting here wondering, when can I go to the bar? I'm a sitting here wondering, when can I go to the bar? There's 100,000 people dying, I think I'll just go drink in my yard. I'm sitting here inside, I wish I could go to a ball game. I'm a sitting here inside, I wish I could go to the ball game. Well, my grandpa used to take me, and the COVID could done take him away. I'm a sitting here lonesome, boy do I miss my friends. I'm a sitting here lonesome, boy do I miss my friends. I appreciate them more if this COVID thing ever comes to an end. I'm a sitting here working, I never get to leave my home. I'm a sitting here working, I never get to leave my home. I could use a vacation, but there ain't no place that I could even go. I'm a sitting here sighing, people thinking it's a hoax. I'm a sitting here sighing, and people thinking that it's a hoax. Well, I bet they think different if the COVID got to someone that they know. I'm a sitting here praying, people better remember what's at stake. I'm a sitting here praying that people remember what's at stake. If we let down our guard, we'll have 100,000 more dead in its way. Okay. Well, now let's do some sports news. News from the wide world of sports. We got a big one. Underreported story. Other outlets are not covering this story, but Brian's Basement News Network has responsibility to cover this story for the people. And the story is Rob Gronkowski loses the WWE 24/7 championship belt. Okay, former tight end Rob Gronkowski dropped the WWE 24/7 belt to R-Truth Ron Killings earlier this month. And for those of you that don't know what the 24/7 belt is, well, that's probably for the best, but I'm going to tell you anyway. It's a belt where you can be, they can change hands at any time in any place. So it doesn't have to be in a ring. It can be just in your yard or out on the street or when you're like doing something else and all you need is a referee to count you out and someone to pin you for 3 counts. It was like very high stakes stuff here. Rob Gronkowski, he won the belt at WrestleMania 36 and held it for a record 60 days. But R-Truth masterfully won the championship by disguising himself as Gronkowski's gardener. When Gronkowski attempted to film a TikTok dance video, claiming that it was going to be, quote, epic, man, Killings performed a schoolboy roll-up while Gronkowski's TikTok filmer secretly, being a referee, shed his jacket and pounded that grass for 3 counts, and the belt was transferred. Rob Gronkowski, no longer WWE champion. Gronkowski was rumored to drop the belt before making a comeback to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who are, along with the WWE, the other biggest jokes in all of sports. So now, this is a song. This is actually a song. This next one that I did for Song a Day in May, and it was just so perfect for this story because it's called Drop the Belt. And it's a somewhat about wrestling, I guess. Pigeons in the rafters, ringing in the ears, muscle aches and bruises for $50 in beer. And I've rolled with many punches, and I play the cards I'm dealt, but you don't tell an old wrestler to simply go and drop the belt. Ringing bells and busted speakers, the work calls for my pin, and all week I drive a truck so I can be weekend champion. The match is fixed from the start, but if you know how the winning fell, if it was all you had to hold on to, would you go and drop the belt? Okay, and other sporting news, this one from NPR.org. Cyclist Lachlan Morton this week set a record for Everesting, a challenge where a cyclist attempts to ride the elevation of Mount Everest, 29,029 vertical feet. Morton set the record of 7 hours, 29 minutes, and 57 seconds on a hill in Wrist Canyon near Fort Collins, Colorado. The section he rode was about a mile long, and it was 200 meters of elevation gain on that mile, and it took him 47 laps to get the entire 29,029 feet. So Everesting has been a while, for a couple years, and the first known attempt being all the way back in 1984, actually. But it recently has gained popularity since many races and group rides have been canceled. But also, many cyclists are relating to the monotony and the seemingly endless fluctuation of weariness, hope, and frustration through the COVID-19 crisis. Sometimes I forget we're on a cycle where everything ebbs and flows. Sometimes you're on a peak or valley, and it's hard to see where the journey goes. I've been climbing this section for a while, legs are tired, my lungs are burning hot. But what goes up must come down, and each stretch is a battle hard fought. And it's easy to relax when you're coasting. Settle back, relax in the seat. And it's always too short before the hills return. And it takes all my will not to retreat. I try to remember the slow nature of things and never lose sight of my goal. Take the climbs head on and celebrate the coast, and keep my eyes squarely on the road. All right, now shifting to tech news. Well, actually, before that, are there any comments, Kim? Any comments or questions coming through the old news wire? Okay, so the question was, do you think there's a song coming about us being descendant from worms? And I don't see why not. I think it would fit right in with the news network concept. And I think Kristen would get a lot of value out of that. Shout out Kristen, fourth time shout out for Kristen. She's the record holder. Oh yeah, it was my dad with the question. Yeah, okay. Well, that's neat. Jake says, hi Jake. Oh, yeah, good. Thanks, Jake. Thank you. Thanks for the comment. We love comments in the newsroom over here, so thank you. Well, we'll move on to tech news now. That they're, and the story is companies are boycotting Facebook over its hate policies. So Facebook is under fire for its policy or lack thereof of controlling hate speech on its platform. Companies like REI, Adidas, Coca-Cola, and Ford have all pledged to pool advertising dollars from Facebook in July. Even almighty Denny's will be pulling ads for their Grand Slam meals from the platform as part of the hashtag Stop Hate for Profit campaign started by the ADL and the NAACP. The campaign is only for July, and after that it will be likely business as usual for Facebook, who released some bullshit statement about how, no, really, they do try, and the laughable notion that Facebook could be a force for good. So this is a metaphor song about that. This one also has a borrowed tune from Jaipur from the Mountain Goats Corners Gambit. The general store had a big, big, mean dog that would snarl and growl and bite at the people that came through the store. But the owner said, well, it's the dog's right. And there will always be mean dogs that bite. But when the problems become too big to ignore, the shopkeeper has the responsibility to remove it from the store. So the townsfolk banded together. They said, we're not shopping here for a couple of weeks. And they patted themselves on the back. But there was nothing from the store that they really didn't need. The shopkeeper has all the cards. He's calling their bluff and he'll probably win. He knows the townsfolk won't starve to death, and he don't care if they get bit. We got two more stories for you all tonight. Some big news, big news coming through the pipeline. This is another tech story. This is tangentially related to tech. This is about billionaires. But there was a story earlier this year about how tech people were building bunkers in New Zealand to escape COVID, which is reprehensible for so many reasons. But now, luckily for the billionaires, Fiji is now marketing itself as the retreat for billionaires during the pandemic. So the island country of Fiji is generously opening its doors to those hardest hit by the global pandemic, billionaires seeking refuge in bunkers from the rest of us sick and poors. Fiji is implementing a 14-day quarantine where the billionaires can spend on their private jet or yacht, very reasonable, and they would be free to, quote, roam around the country after a negative COVID-19 test. Other crucial industries like television and movie production are also specifically named being welcome during these trying times. Billionaires are relieved to escape an extremely lax tax code, free reign to do or say whatever they please, and a general worship from the population that gave them everything they have. When you're finished eating the world and you want to go to somewhere safe, you can fire up your private jet and come to Fiji and get away. Yes, come to Fiji and get away. When you're done disrupting markets and making the world a better place, you can check your integrity with a free bag and come to Fiji and get away. Come to Fiji and get away. When you realize that all of your solutions involve shoving ads in our face, you can escape this pesky COVID-19 and come to Fiji and get away. Come to Fiji and get away. When the markets begin to tumble and there's no more money left to be made, you can escape your benefactor burning. Come to Fiji and get away. Come to Fiji and get away. All right, so we got one more story for tonight. So if you have comments, questions, get them in fast, because we're just going to do one more story. We're going back to local. This is from River City News, Northern Kentucky, rcnky.com, and it's Robertson County records first confirmed COVID-19 case, last in Kentucky to do so. So yeah, there's a county called Robertson County, and it is the smallest and least populated county in the state. It's about an hour and a half drive south of Cincinnati. It was founded in 1867. The county was. It's 100 square miles, and the county seat is Mount Olivet, and it is named after George Robertson, a judge and congressman. According to Wikipedia, these are apparently the only facts about Robertson County. So if you're out there listening in from Mount Olivet, you got some spicy fun facts about Robertson County. Please phone them in. And at the time of writing, no billionaires have sought refuge there. So. Well, there's no place to run, and there's no place to hide, 'cause pandemics come to Robertson County. It was the last in line. Mighty Mount Olivet has surrendered to the darkness rolling in, and there's no escaping the darkness, and every place falls victim. Smallest county in Kentucky, off the major interstate, and there are no more bastions to retreat to. The only safe thing is to isolate. Yeah, there's no place to run. Oh, there's no place to hide, 'cause pandemic came to Robertson County. It was the last in line. It was the last in line. Okay, well, thank you for tuning in to Kristen has a question. How much time per day do I spend during the songs? I think that for these, I was trying to do 2 a day, and so it would usually take somewhere around 2 hours to write the summary and also the song, and then the chords I usually just slap on at the last minute and sing a tune to them. So it's about 2 hours. But sometimes you only write one, sometimes you only write another. Cool. Well, thanks for the question, Kristen, and I think with that, I think we'll go ahead and call Yield sign off. Thank you for tuning in to this week's edition of Brian's Basement, your trusted news source for song-related news reporting. As always, we don't have credits rolling, but if we did, we'd have producers Kim. So thanks to Kim for being the producer. And tune in next week to Brian's Basement for some other weird thing. And until then, be safe and be nice to each other. Have a good night.